This behind the scenes gives you a little bit of the backstory for my book, The Love of 10,000. The Love of 10,000 is my third book of poetry and my very first children's book. I wrote this poem in honor of Jackie Renee Polk, who died on February 1st, 2002. My sister was 17 years older than me, and she may have been a little bit overprotective of her baby sister. All right, bet, here's an example. When I was in high school, I may have gotten into a little bit of trouble, and there was a group of girls that wanted to fight me. And for whatever reason, our high school principal, Mr. Freeman, God rest your soul, Mr. Freeman, suspended me. So while I was on suspension, rumor has it, my mom called my sister. I never heard the conversation, so I don't even know if that's true. What I do know is the day when I came back to school, everyone was acting really strange around me. Finally, after a good amount of time, there was one student that came up to me and said, "Your sister came up here after school yesterday and cussed out everybody." So apparently Jackie rolled up to the school while I was at home and stood outside the school and cussed out and threatened everyone in the vicinity of the school. And when I say everybody, I mean faculty, staff, students, bus drivers, everybody. It didn't matter. They were getting all the smoke. And the thing that was really funny about it is my sister never said one word to me about it afterward. Not one word. So all my folks at Inglewood High School that happened to be there that day, in the immortal words of Anita Baker, I apologize. Anyway, back to the book. I published the first edition of The Love of 10,000 in 2019 and the second edition in 2020. Yes, that 2020. I wrote this poem thinking about all of the love that surrounds my child that they will never physically know, like my sister, and that all of that love surrounds them each and every day. That reminded me of the poem by late great mother ancestor Dr. Maya Angelou. Her poem, Our Grandmothers, provides the poetic premise for the book. I love the way Oprah Winfrey explains how she engages her 10,000.
There's a wonderful phrase by Maya Angelou from a poem that she wrote called To Our Grandmothers, that she says, "When I come as one, but I stand as 10,000. So when I walk into a room, and particularly before I have something really challenging to do, or I'm going to be in a circumstance where I feel I'm going to be, up against some difficulties, I will literally sit and I will call on that 10,000. I will call on the ancestors. I will call on those people who've come before me. I will call on the women who forged a path that I might be able to sit in the room with all of those white men and love it so much. I call on that because I know that my being where I am, and first of all, being who I am and where I am, didn't come just out of myself, that I come from a heritage. And so I own that, and I step into that room, not just as myself, but I bring all of that energy with me.
After writing the poem on July 15th, 2017, I read it to my then 7-year-old. My kiddo gave me their expert kid opinion, and an editor was born. Mac would also become the protagonist of the book once I began working with the illustrator, Ross Webb. I'll tell you a little bit more about Ross Webb in the Meet the Artists behind the scenes. The storyline of the book has the lead character navigating school life and so much more, while constantly being encouraged that they are not navigating this world alone, and that they have ancestors and loving guides who are surrounding them with love every day. There was a lot of turmoil and fear and loss that was occurring in the world while I was working on the third edition of the book. The pandemic and everything connected with it had created our current mental health crisis with a devastating impact on our youth, my child included. Remember how I talked about all of the issues I was navigating from 2007 to 2017 when I was writing God Don't Like Ugly? Well, my child indirectly and directly experienced those challenges for 7 out of those 10 years. In addition to those issues, my child was experiencing loss on so many levels. The pandemic, the death of a dear family member, the divorce of their parents, 3 moves, one of which was across the country. Distance learning was a boiling hot mess, changes with friends, issues at school, and so many other devastating events. These issues would be heavy for any adult. Yet the emotional weight of these issues were even heavier for a child who had 2 ill-equipped parents who were struggling themselves. Given the emotional weight of everything that was going on at that time, my child was sinking deeper into despair, and what I was doing based on my own personal experiences was causing more harm than good. And that's when that little love poem that I wrote back in 2017 was no longer just a children's book. It became more like a healing curriculum for my child and for me. As a co-parent, I was able to find external support, additional resources, and my very own group of loving guides to help support me as I supported my child. I thank God I'm able to say my teenager is on a much healthier path. They have stronger resources, and their parents are better equipped. And I also know that we are not on this healing journey alone. And to my very own guardian angel, Jackie, just like the book says, I know that physically you have gone away. And I know that your 10,000 adds to our 10,000. And you are right there leading the way. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for watching over my baby. And for watching over me. I love you, I love you, I love you. And thank you for giving me this gift on your birthday 6 years ago. Click the link in my bio to learn more about the Love of 10,000 Gift a Book campaign coming up this holiday season.